My name is Sam, and I turned 18 this past spring, right when the Texas heat started to really settle in, heavy and thick like a wool blanket. Most days, I woke up before the sun even thought about peeking over the horizon, the air already humid even in the dark. My first stop wasn't school. It was usually our small, dusty barn out back. We don't have a big ranch or anything, just a few acres that my grandma, who I call Mamaw, always called home. Our old pickup truck was almost as old as she was, but it always started, usually after a few coughs and splutters. After feeding the chickens and checking on the small garden Mamaw loved, I'd grab a quick breakfast, usually just a piece of toast, and head to school. School was okay, but my mind was always on baseball. Pitching was my life, my escape, my everything. My dream wasn't just to play, though. It was to get a baseball scholarship to college. It felt like the only way out, the only way I could help Mamaw. She'd raised me since I was little after my folks passed on too soon. She worked so hard all her life, but lately things had gotten tough. Our real trouble started a few months ago. Mamaw had a fall, nothing too serious, but it meant doctors and medicines, and those bills started piling up faster than dry leaves in a tornado. Our farm, the land she loved more than anything, was mortgaged, and the payments were getting harder to make. Every time the mail came, Mamaw would look at the envelopes with a tired sadness in her eyes, trying to hide it from me, but I saw it. I felt the weight of it, heavy in my stomach like a stone. It wasn't just about me playing baseball anymore, it was about saving our home. That was the real goal, bigger than any game. My coach, Coach Miller, often told me I had a good arm, a strong fastball, but he also said I needed to work on my mental game. He said I let things get to me, that I thought too much, doubted myself when the pressure was on. He was right. That doubt, that fear of failing Mamaw, of losing our home, it was my own quiet enemy, always whispering in my ear. It told me I wasn't strong enough, that I'd let her down, that I'd never be able to pitch well enough to catch a scout's eye. Every time I stepped on the mound, that voice was there, making my hand tremble just a little, making my throws a little less sharp. I tried everything I could think of to help. After baseball practice, instead of heading straight home, I started working extra shifts at Mr. Henderson's diner, scrubbing pots and mopping floors until my feet ached. Sometimes I'd skip practice to pick up odd jobs, fixing fences for neighbors or helping with cattle. Coach Miller wasn't happy about me missing practice, but I just told him I had family obligations. I couldn't tell him the truth, couldn't tell anyone how close we were to losing everything. I pushed myself harder than ever on the field, trying to make every pitch perfect, trying to make every swing count. I knew a scholarship was my only real shot, but the pressure built up inside me like a storm cloud ready to burst. I watched other guys on the team, laughing, messing around, and I felt so alone, carrying this secret burden. One afternoon, a scout from a big university was supposed to be at our game. This was it, I thought, my chance. I'd been working on a new curveball, practicing it until my arm was sore. I felt ready, truly ready. But then in the third inning, with 2 outs and the bases loaded, I got rattled. My catcher signaled for the curveball, but the doubt crept in, fast and cold. What if I hung it? What if they hit it out of the park? I shook him off, decided to go with my fastball, but my arm felt stiff, my mind clouded. The pitch sailed wide, way outside, and a run scored. Then another wild pitch and another run. The crowd groaned. My coach came out to the mound, his face serious. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Sam, son, you're trying too hard. Take a break." He pulled me from the game. I felt a wave of shame wash over me, hot and stinging. My chance was gone. The scout left before the game was even over. That night, the news from home got even worse. A thick envelope with a bank logo arrived, a final notice. We had 30 days to make a payment, or they would start the foreclosure process on our farm. Mamaw sat at the kitchen table, tracing the words with her finger, her shoulders shaking quietly. She wasn't crying out loud, but the silent tears breaking free spoke volumes. My heart sank. 30 days. It felt like an impossible mountain. All the extra shifts, all the fence mending, it wasn't enough, not even close. I felt a cold despair settle in, deeper than I'd ever known. What was the point of baseball? What was the point of dreaming when our home was about to be taken away? I looked at my old baseball glove, worn and faded, lying on my bed. It just looked like a symbol of a failed dream now. I wanted to throw it away, to give up. I even thought about just running away, but that would leave Mamaw alone. I felt trapped, completely and utterly broken. The last game of the season arrived, and I was scheduled to pitch. It was a rivalry game against the Eagles, a team we always had tough matches against. Truthfully, my heart wasn't in it. I was just going through the motions, my mind still heavy with the thought of the bank notice. I started strong, surprisingly, maybe because I had stopped putting so much pressure on myself, telling myself it didn't matter anymore. But then in the top of the 7th inning, with the score tied and 2 outs, everything went wrong. Their best hitter stepped up, a guy named Mark, their captain, big and confident. I threw a fastball a little too high and he connected. The ball soared deep into center field. It looked like a home run for sure, but our center fielder, bless his heart, made an incredible diving catch. We were all cheering, celebrating the out. But then, as he scrambled up, he fumbled the ball, dropping it. The umpire called him safe at first. It was an error, a simple mistake, but it felt like a punch to my gut. My shoulders slumped. The crowd went quiet, all the cheering turning into a collective sigh. That familiar cold dread wrapped around me. My internal nemesis, the doubt, roared to life. You're not good enough, Sam. You always mess up when it counts. You're going to lose this game, just like you're going to lose the farm. I stared at the dirt on the mound, my cap pulled low. I felt tears pricking at my eyes, hot and stinging, not just for the game, but for everything. I was so angry, so ashamed, so utterly defeated. I heard footsteps, not my coaches, not my catchers. I looked up through a blur of tears, and to my surprise, it was Mark, the Eagles' captain, the rival player who had just hit the ball. He walked right out to the mound, past the umpire, past my catcher, right to me. He stopped a foot away, put a hand gently on my shoulder. His eyes, usually so fierce during a game, were kind, full of understanding. He leaned in a little so only I could hear him over the murmur of the crowd. "Hey, Sam," he said, his voice calm and steady. "Shake it off. That was a great swing, but a tough break. We all make mistakes out here, man, every single one of us." He squeezed my shoulder. "You've got a cannon of an arm. Remember that strikeout you had in the fifth? That was pure fire. Don't let one bad play define you. You got this, Sam. Breathe, just one pitch at a time." He looked me in the eye, and for the first time in a long time I felt truly seen, not as a pitcher who made a mistake, but as a person who was struggling. It wasn't about the game anymore, not about winning or losing. It was just a kid, a rival even, showing me a moment of pure, unexpected kindness. That simple act, a hand on my shoulder, a few quiet words, shattered the doubt that had been suffocating me. It was like a ray of sunlight cutting through the darkest storm. I took a deep, shaky breath, just like he told me to. I looked at him, really looked at him, and nodded. Mark offered a small, encouraging smile, patted my back, and jogged back to first base. I threw the next pitch, and it was a strike. Then another. I dug deep, finding a strength I didn't know I had. I got the final out, leaving Mark stranded on base. We won the game. But more importantly, I found something that day, something inside myself that I thought was completely lost. After the game, Coach Miller found me. "Sam," he said, "I saw what happened out there. Mark's a good kid, and you showed real grit after that. I also got a call from that scout from the university. He was still watching. He said he saw something special, not just your arm, but your character." A week later, a letter arrived, not from the bank, but from the university. A full baseball scholarship. It was real. I cried, Mamaw cried, and for the first time in forever, the weight lifted. The scholarship meant we could save the farm. It meant Mamaw didn't have to worry anymore. It meant my dream, which had felt like such a selfish thing, actually became the answer to all our problems. Mark and I stayed in touch. We even became good friends, grabbing burgers sometimes, laughing about that day on the mound. He told me that moment changed him too, making him realize that empathy was more powerful than rivalry. I went off to college, played baseball, and studied hard. I never forgot that feeling of despair or that moment of unexpected kindness. Now, years later, I'm a coach for a youth baseball league in my hometown. I teach kids how to pitch, how to hit, but most importantly, I teach them about sportsmanship, about believing in themselves, and about the power of lifting each other up. Just last week during a championship game, I saw one of my young pitchers, a kid named Leo, get rattled after making an error. His shoulders slumped, his eyes were wet, and he looked ready to give up just like I had. I walked out to the mound, a familiar path, feeling a warmth spread through me. I put my hand on his shoulder, just like Mark had done for me all those years ago. "Hey, Leo," I said softly, looking him in the eye. "You're better than this. Shake it off. We all make mistakes. You got this." I reminded him of a great play he'd made earlier, saw the fear in his eyes slowly fade, replaced by a flicker of hope. He nodded, took a deep breath, and finished the game strong. It's funny how life works, isn't it? How one small act of kindness, shared by a stranger when you're at your lowest, can not only change your whole world, but also ripple out, touching lives you haven't even met yet. Things truly do get better, especially when we remember to be kind to each other.